This is a very quiet period for the royals. Normally, the rest of the royals are on their holidays like the rest of us. And I think in that kind of vacuum, Harry and Meghan seem to have decided that they're going to up their profile. So we've had two or three things happening in recent weeks. Friends have been leaking stuff to People magazine saying that they would very much like to, that Harry would very much like to resolve this security issue so that he has protection when he gets back here if he comes over to the UK. And I think he's hinting that that would enable him to repair his relationship with the king. I have my doubts about that. And it's also been announced that they're going to Colombia. And you may remember they went to Nigeria in May, and it was sort of dubbed as a sort of quasi-royal tour. And that's something which obviously that the royals and the courtiers can't stop them doing. If they want to, if they get an invite from another country, they can do what they like and go on these events. The Colombian trip that they're going on, apparently it's at the invitation of the government in South America, and they're going to visit Bogota and a couple of other regions. And it's all linked in with a conference to do with violence against children and women. And that's something which Harry and Meghan's Archwell Foundation has very much got involved with. But it's rather ironic. I think that Colombia had, for many years had this terrible reputation as a sort of drugs capital of South America and gang warfare breaking out. I think they've cleaned up their act to some extent, but certainly I wouldn't say it was the safest place in the world to go. And so it's rather ironic that Harry's concerned about his security when he comes over to the UK, and yet he's happy to go to Nigeria and Colombia, which can be do have some dodgy areas, but obviously they'll have very tight security. They'll have their own security people as well as local police looking after them. But it's going to be an interesting trip. But I think it's something which they're going to carry on doing. If they get an invite from a country, it doesn't have to be a Commonwealth country. Colombia is not a Commonwealth country like Nigeria is. But if they think it suits their cause and it suits the things they're getting involved in, the charities and the causes they're getting involved in, then it's just the sort of thing they'll do. But it does rather look sometimes as if they're kind of setting up almost like an alternative court, and they're trying to sort of be royal while of course they're not actually representing the royal family. So I'm not sure that Buckingham Palace, I'm not sure the king and the courtiers who advise him are necessarily terribly happy about it, but there's nothing they can do to stop them. And they'll just have to hope that they don't, on any of these trips, be it Nigeria or be it Colombia, just have to hope that they don't blunder into any kind of diplomatic problem, because if they did, then obviously there would be all sorts of problems. But hopefully it won't come to that, and they'll be able to do their trip and support the causes that they're going there for.
What do you think Prince William and Kate's reaction will be to them sort of setting up this sort of alternative royal court? Obviously, when they were in the royal family, they could more coordinate their diaries, their schedules, their causes. Do you think there's a possibility that things that they could be arranging would overlap with projects if they're not sort of coordinating as tightly?
Well, I think obviously, if they could wind the clock back, William and Kate would much prefer it if everyone had got on, if the Fab Four had remained intact, and if Harry and Meghan could have taken a great weight off their shoulders. And certainly, the late Queen had massive plans for Harry and Meghan. She thought that they would be perfect to travel around the Commonwealth and represent her and represent the royal family and carry on after she'd gone. And it came as a great shock to her and to William and Kate that Harry and Meghan decided to jack it all in. So I'm sure that they would prefer that they hadn't fallen out and that they were still all working together and they were doing their fair share. But now that they've set up as this kind of rival court, they will obviously hope that things they do don't overlap what William's doing. I mean, he's got events with the Earthshot Prize that he's involved in South Africa later in the year, and Harry, of course, has got his Invictus Games. So, as long as they don't sort of, directly clash in terms of dates and try and score points off each other, and they're not directly competing in the same field, I think that they can, they can carry on. But it's just tragic that it's come to this, that they're doing their own thing.
Do you think it'll also be sort of slightly frustrating for William and the other royals left behind that this has been a really hard year for the royal family? They've had members down due to health, and these tours could be perfect for filling in while Princess Kate is recovering and King Charles. And yeah, just sort of like, do you think it indicates like the absence of them and they could be helping out with that?
Let's say the Queen very much wanted Harry and Meghan to do Commonwealth tours. You know, you think of the places that think of the fact that the King recently, it's been announced that he's going to go to the Commonwealth Heads of Government conference in Samoa in October. And he's also going to go to Australia, but he's not going to New Zealand, where, of course, he's also head of state. And I'm told that's because his doctors advised him to go, not to go to New Zealand because it might have been too grueling for him while he's still receiving treatment. It wouldn't surprise me, to be honest, if the doctors advised him not to go to Australia and to Samoa. But I think Charles is extremely keen to do those trips. So he realises that he's head of the Commonwealth. He's still head of state in 14 other countries. And if they don't ever see him, if he never goes there, then obviously people are going to start asking questions. Republicans in Australia and New Zealand will say, you know, we never see the king, so you know we might want to get rid of the monarchy. But I think at the moment, certainly if he hadn't gone to that, William and Kate would obviously have wanted to have stepped in and carried out that role and substituted for them. They haven't been on any extensive trips, obviously, this year because of Kate's treatment. So it's very, very difficult. All of a sudden, this you know, the slimmed down monarchy by default is looking very slim. So they are thin on the ground, and obviously, were they still working royals, Harry and Meghan could have taken up a lot of the slack. So it is frustrating, but we are where we are, and in some ways, you know, we're going to have to wait till, you know, George, Charlotte, and Louis are another 10 years older before they can start performing duties. And in the meantime, it's going to be difficult.
Do you think we're likely to see Archie and Lilibet accompany Meghan and Harry on any of these tours in the future or events for charities?
I don't think we're likely to see Archie and Lilibet, so they're still quite young. They are growing up fast, but I think Harry is certainly very, very protective of them. I mean, obviously, when they're coming up to school age, it'll be interesting to see where they go to school or whether they get educated privately. They can't live. You know, there are security concerns, but they can't live in an absolute bubble all of their lives. They've got to go out and meet people and have a relatively normal life. So yeah, it is going to be difficult for them, and but time will tell where they go. But yeah, that is going to be a problem. I think they need to get out and see other people.